Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Monday, November 29, 2021. The sun is in Sagittarius today. Sag is often characterized as the sign for wanderlust. Sagittarius suns can appear to be up for any kind of adventure, especially the kind that gets them out into the world, giving them an opportunity to connect with the nature of a place. Don't make the mistake, however, of thinking that all this wandering is aimless or that it indicates a vacant state of mind. The adventures we are called to under Sagittarius sun are part of a philosophical quest for truth and understanding. We may not always know what we were searching for, but once we find it, the journey will have been well worth having trusted our instinct to roam. The moon began today in Virgo and made ingress to Libra around 3 in the morning. This represents another shift in the heart and home from mutable earth vibes to cardinal air, from gathering information and resources to considering our options and how we can make use of these resources. The waning crescent energy of this moon calls on us to release those things that no longer work for us so that we can more effectively begin to plan again when we reach the new moon this Friday. Release the hounds. Don't release the hounds. Just release those things that don't work for you anymore. Let's take a look at these planets and aspects before we get into the interpretations. I have prepared a legend of the symbols we'll be looking at today so that we can start with an idea of some of the energies that are at play. At the top of our list, always and forever, is the sun. The sun represents our outer life. That is who we are when we step out the door, the person that people meet when they get to know us, when they first get to know us, and how we behave in our civic, social, and work spheres. That's our outer life, which is represented by the sun. The moon here represents our inner life, or rather, your relationship with yourself. So our emotions, our intuitions, what we know, and also how we behave when we are in our domestic sphere at home. That's the inner life as represented by the moon. We also have Mars on board today. Mars is the planet that indicates our personal sense of initiative, sort of the fire under our butt or whatever it is that causes us personally to get up and go. Neptune has to do with our relationship to the human collective, or where we stand in the human spirit. Mercury represents the intellect, especially our day-to-day communications, the plans that we make, the thoughts we have, and our traveling around. Saturn represents the structures that we maintain for our own support. And Chiron represents our ability to heal and how we heal. Jupiter is here. Just as Sagittarius is representative today, Jupiter is the planet for growth and opportunity, good fortune, positive expansion. And Venus is here to represent Libra, and Venus represents love and money, or, in other words, how do you relate to those people and things that you value the most? As for the aspects that we are looking at today, I see an ingress. And an ingress is a sign of transition as a planetary body like the moon travels out of one sign and into the next. We have some trines here. That's always very positive to see. Trine is a very positive aspect and it brings about harmonious interactions. And we also have a bunch of sextiles on the board today. Sextiles are also very positive and they indicate cooperative energy, and cooperation makes things happen. Signs of note today, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Libra are all on our board today. And so, I have divided our aspects into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our night, and it sets the tone for our emotional experiences and our domestic relations. The moon moves very quickly, creating many brief aspects that represent ambient energies that may produce moods and other internal experiences for us throughout the course of the day. The sun sheds light on our days, and I address the rest of the planets on this side because these aspects take longer and they have more of an impact on our actions and interactions out in the world. We start with the moon today, friends, Central Standard Time, of course. At 2:55 this morning, the moon made ingress to Libra. Now, when the moon is in Libra, we seek to create order in our relationships and social sphere through the clever use of charm and diplomacy. This is a 2.5 day transit. And it's a good time to weigh our options, though we may not very easily come to any conclusions at this time. Weigh our options. Then later on in the day at 5:33 p.m., the sun goes sextile with Mercury. Now this aspect puts us in a mood to share with others, especially our domestic partners. Conversations could and should come very easily at this time, and our being engaged in them will generate a good outcome. So this is a 2-hour aspect. Be engaged. Easy conversations. Positive outcomes. And then after that, not even an hour after that one begins, we get this next moon aspect, which is at 6:24 p.m. It's Moon Trine Saturn. Now this one brings in a little more personal strength, a little more emotional and internal fortitude, so that we can handle emotionally intense situations if we must. And if you need to have a tough talk with someone you care for, this 2-hour aspect is a good time for it. Positive outcomes, even with tough talks. The point is just to keep communicating and collaborating with your partners. So today's lunar energy signature invites us to relate to others and even blesses our efforts at having serious conversations with a positive outcome. Now, as for the sunny side of the page, in the ongoing column, we still have Saturn sextile Chiron, and I finally figured out that this is an approximate 2-week aspect. So we'll be talking about it basically till December 3rd. I want you to think about checking your natal Chiron placement. You can do this if it's not in your birth chart that you got either from an astrologer or from a free astrology site online. Either of those are valid options, by the way, but not all of them provide your Chiron placement. So you can go like on Google, go to a search bar somewhere and just type in Chiron placement or Chiron table, and it will tell you where Chiron was when you were born, and that's what you want to know. And then furthermore, you can find out where Chiron was placed when you were born, and then you can probably also find some interpretive paragraph or something that will give you a clue as to what kind of healing you are working on in the world, so that you can have a clue as to, like what you have learned from that healing that you can bring to this beautiful opportunity that we've been given. So Chiron has been retrograde for a little while. It's in Aries, and Chiron retrograde really points to inner healing instead of external healing, healing our relationship with ourselves, doing the work on our psychology and on our spiritual self and on our emotional self, to come to terms with something or things. And Chiron in Aries, which Chiron is currently retrograde in Aries, and when it goes direct again, it will still be in Aries, is dealing with issues concerning personal identity and our relationship to the human collective. So that's what Chiron is working on right now. Go ahead and look at what Chiron was working on when you were born, on the day you were born, and you can bring the information that you have learned along the way to apply to your foundations. So your community structure, your family structure, your domestic structure, your workplace structure. The wisdom you gain from the healing you have done is what we apply to those structures to sort of reinforce our foundations and make things more solid for us and for everybody that is there with us. Okay, as for today, Mars makes a trine with Neptune at 8:10 this morning. This is a 4-day transit, and it only comes around once or twice per year. And I'll give you this quote from astrologyking.com. Mars trine Neptune stimulates your sensuality, creativity, and community spirit. You will enjoy a strong magnetic attractiveness and sultry charm, which makes this an ideal time for passionate romances. I say, take the opportunity if you get it. It's a 4-day transit, and I'm just going to highlight sensual. That's not a word, is that? Sensual, creative, and community oriented. And then, and of course, that's 4 days, so we'll be coming back to it to talk about it tomorrow. Then at 4:44 p.m., check your angel numbers, friends. The sun runs sextile to the moon. This aspect lends a boost of positivity to our emotional and domestic lives. We may feel more outgoing and capable of connecting with others. This one lasts about 1 day. I'm just going to say positivity boosted. Later on this evening at 8:41, Mercury is going to make a trine with Chiron. Now, this is an opportunity for us to gain insight into new ways to deal with our everyday problems and blockages. It is easier than usual to learn from our past mistakes and gain a new perspective. Take this opportunity again to collaborate with others, as our ideas can become real solutions, especially if we share them. This is a 2-day aspect, and I'm going to say ideas become solutions when we share them. And then around the bend on the clock at 1:19 a.m., Mercury is also going to make an aspect with Saturn. Of course, we've got Saturn making this aspect with Chiron right here, so that's interesting to me. Mercury sextile Saturn indicates we are likely to have clear and cognizant perspectives. The increased good judgment during this 2-day aspect may allow us to finish some project that's important to our progress. 2 days. Increased good judgment and mental clarity. Woohoo! So, Coming up this week, we have a lot going on in the aspects. Mercury will reach its aphelion, or farthest point from the sun, tomorrow. The farthest point indicates the least amount of influence that planet will have on our lives, which isn't zero influence, it's just less than the most. Neptune is stationing to go direct on Wednesday, offering us the opportunity to turn the spiritual growth we've undergone outward into the world. And the new moon on Friday will be in curious, adventurous Sagittarius, which is incidentally our current sun sign and where Mercury is transiting right now. Hey, also, a question was brought up for me last week that I want to address, and that question was this: do the aspects vary according to your sign? And I think that's a great question, actually, and I want to address it for anyone who wants to hear it. I was planning to do that at the end of this episode, but as you see, this one's kind of long and involved anyway. So instead, I'm going to create a separate video. I encourage you to look for that video titled, Do the Aspects Vary According to Your Sign, right here on the Old Girl channel, coming up very soon. And that's it for today, friends. This has been your Daily Aspects, an astrological weather forecast for Monday, November 29, 2021. If you haven't already, please like my video and subscribe to the Old Girl channel. I will leave this up here for about 30 seconds so that you can have time to look it over. I thank you all so much for being here with me today. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more Daily Aspects.